community, I wanted to come in and talk about where I am today in my journey. And the gifts of neurodivergent people. Let me start by saying that in my own direct journey, I was initially diagnosed with ADHD, 38, there was a period of integrating the spiritual awakening that happened in 2019. And after that, my own autism has been unraveling. What I have been witnessing is a deeper and deeper return to my own authentic, innocent state. We can call this the expanse of the heart and the subtle layers of hypersensitivity on my body. My pores are open. I've become a porous being for a long time. And there was a conversation somewhere on one of the media, the social platforms, and we know that bilateral stimulation is used in EMDR treatment to treat anxiety, trauma. Okay, well, bilateral means there's a movement of the hand, if somebody had an EMDR, that engages both the right and the left hemisphere of the brain. I've had EMDR and I found it really useful model. And to highlight that autistic individuals, especially, they stim. And stimming, according to research, is a way of the body that's using naturally bilateral stimulation to release all the stress. So a couple of questions then are coming up for me. To what extent, and those of us who have had diagnosis of autism, like I'm noticing my stimming is coming up naturally. It's just fascinating to witness. I was always somebody that traveled the complex. There's no other way to describe this. It is complex. It's beautiful in all its complexity, but it's complex. The contradiction and the polarities that ADHD energy has with the autism. So they can complement, but they can also contrast. And they require an acute perception of refined awareness, mentally, energetically, somatically, and bodily, to know where we are in each and every moment and what's happening. And an ongoing kind of consultation of our own heart's wisdom, our own intuition, which is located beyond the body. So we're bringing that spacious consciousness awareness that we are, and we're fleshing it down. So it's been fascinating to me to notice I've started flying like a pigeon lately. And it's like my body just does it, and I am just there as a witness. Oh my God, I've returned to become such a mirror to my son, with who we're now in the process of diagnosis. And I may or not jump in to talk about that a little bit. It's a whole other conversation. And sitting with complexity. But I wanted to say again, because it reinforces the purpose of this community, that neurodivergent folk, I'm just going to say it, we're ahead of the game. There's not ahead and behind, but you know what I mean. We are so in tune with the bodily wisdom. And I am fiercely passionate. The mama lioness is coming out in me for my children as well. To worship and really devotionally and passionately talk about that sensitivity as being our own superpower. Yeah. Stimming then, in my perspective, to me, is nothing else but an embodied intelligence in our soma in our system to release stress when stress is there. It's an intelligence that is not oppressed by the external regime in society that talks about what we should do and what we shouldn't do. Imagine if we lived in a world where our bodies could just be free, just sitting in the cafe and then standing up because you wanted to steam in that moment because you have so much energy built up. How amazing that would be. And that can happen. Because the more we decolonize and the more we return to a natural state of beings as neurodivergent folk, and the more we just stay fully accepting of that complexity of our neurodivergence. Complexity doesn't have a story necessarily inherent in it. It's not bad, it's not good, it's not higher, it's not lower, it's complex. And we can stay anchored in the beautiful heart to really allow your inner complexity to be here. Yeah. So there's an innate intelligence in the systems for the stimming that needs to be here. And sometimes I will have, and of course we can have different frameworks in all of this. The neurodivergent perspective is one framework. There's the energetic, there's the chakra. They all point to the same thing for me, if you ask me. It depends what you're congruent, called to be used in as a theory or as a map, or whatever you want to call it. Vocal stimming. I've got a lot of vocal stimming. I'm a big swearer. But this is where my sound, I just need to sound a lot. So my body's just sounding because this is the way that it composts energy. So we're on our journey of unmasking and returning back to anchor in that infinite divinity that we are. The body takes the lead. The mind is nothing but her servant. So I'm stimming these days. The voice was always here anyway, but it's just become more and more heightened the moment I'm full and I need to, I guess, the body to regulate and come back to presence. It's become so automatic that I don't even know it's happening. It is just emerging, and there will be times that I will have to willingly sit with the shadow, and I'm loving resting in the feelings. This is where the beautiful heart cracks open and it blossoms. And our world needs people like you that can feel things. It's a gift to the world. People might misunderstand it as weakness, as vulnerability. You might have even stories in your mind, having internalized that oppressor from your upbringing or from the lack of a compassionate witness growing up. And we can bring presence to all of this. Sitting with the complexity. I'm dealing with a lot of sitting with the complexity of a broken system. With my son's diagnosis, I'm not going to go into that now. But my goodness, the temptation was really, really strong today to go into blame, I went into fierceness and Kali energy. That's needed, but it's love at its root. Yeah, the culture, in order to dismantle oppressive systems, calls us to really anchor in the power of our vulnerability and the embodiment of the light beyond this human, the expanse of our heart, which can hold the whole world in this heart, and not be afraid to feel things. Because the more we hollow the bone, we'll then start transmuting ancestral stuff and then collective stuff. That's the realm I'm playing these days. I'm being played into. And I am nothing but a harp in God's melodic hands. The music that wants to play through me is played. And there's a deepening of presence. It doesn't mean that I don't have my difficult, contracted moments. but they feel, at the moment, I have to be honest with myself, they feel beautiful in their contraction. So everything is welcome. I'm sharing this in case anybody needed to hear this today. Your feelings are welcome. Your breakdown is welcome. How does the seedling crack into the earth to allow its blooming? It doesn't even have to do anything to allow it, because the blooming is so inherently intelligent. It comes through the cracks and the breaking. So can you keep trust? Can you keep faith into your blooming? Keep trust into your heart. Yeah. So steam away. I long to hear all of the ways this is revealing for you, the different ways that we steam as neurodivergent folk. So I'd love to hear your ways.